I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris.
And this is
Mike Fight. Let's get it on.
And we're back, episode 29. What's the status of the police departments? Chris, why don't you take this one away? So what is the status right now? I know we had a lot of defund the police thing going on. Portland's a disaster. New York City is a disaster. You know,
DC,
Chicago. Well, Chicago, we know, has been a disaster.
Yeah.
And I do know that Biden has said that, you know, some of the COVID relief stuff should go back to rehiring, should be put back to funding some of the police departments. So what exactly is going on? What's the status?
Well, that's the argument they made when they were thrown in their face how they were the party of defunding the police. That was the way that they tried to claim that they weren't the party of defunding the police.
The Democratic Party.
Right.
Even how they actually turned around and said, it's not us, it's the GOP.
Republicans.
It's
yeah.
the Republicans.
Right.
They're the ones that are defunding the police.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's countless videos of Democrats, including Joe Biden, stating, yeah, we're going to redirect funding from the police department. Because, again, it's all wordplay. You can't say defund the police, but you can say redirecting funds from the police department to other programs. There's videos of them saying it. But then they turn around and go, no, that's not us. We had COVID relief packages given out to the states. And that money potentially could have been used to give to police departments.
You should redirect.
But the Republicans wanted to stand against these bills being passed. So really the Republicans are the ones that are for defunding the police, not the Democrats. That's the way they try and play the fucking word game with claiming that they were for funding the police. No, they weren't. It's all bullshit. It's just that the crime is insane in this country and they have nothing to defend themselves with whatsoever. And so now they have to try and change the narrative and change the story again to try and claim that they were never for defunding the police.
Yeah, I find it funny because you got these DAs, like in California, for example, they're just refusing to prosecute.
Yeah.
Right? They say that they're not going to prosecute anything like petty theft that's with merchandise that's over, unless it's over like $800 or something or $900. Yeah. So that means I can go steal a PlayStation and not be brought up on charges.
Well, you saw the video from San Francisco, right? The kid that comes in with his bicycle.
Literally.
And he just cleans the whole shelf out right in front of the store manager.
Walks right out.
And the security guard. Knows he's being recorded. And he just rides past them. No big deal. Rides right out the store. And it's like, yeah, this is great. Everything's cool. I think one of the stores actually had to go out of business. Because they couldn't sustain anymore. But, yeah, so this whole defund, it's so weird because it's like a catch-22. And I don't think people understand like really what's going on with police departments. Because traditionally, cops and military are two Republican strong points, right? The majority of cops and majority of military are usually conservatives, usually supporters of the Republican Party.
Yeah, I would say
right?
So.
And those are the two facets that the Democratic Party has not been able to crack. All right? They're getting into obviously politics.
They're getting into the military.
Right. I'll get to that. So you got
sneaky.
They're obviously in politics. They've gotten into
academia.
School districts, academia.
Big time.
From colleges, people who own colleges, straight down to the unions, teachers, professors, the whole nine yards. They've gotten into law, where you have DAs, like you said, refusing to prosecute crimes. Who do you think those DAs are put in by?
Yeah.
They're Democrats. They get money from the Democrats, big donors, and they win their campaigns that way. They've gotten into the law departments. They've gotten into social media. They've gotten into Hollywood. They've gotten into...
They've always been in Hollywood.
Right. Well, Hollywood's on top of that. And now they're getting into big corporations, where now you see companies like United and Coca-Cola, and Nike, you know, all part of the Democratic agenda. Sports. Now you've seen it. I mean, it's everywhere in sports.
The lowest viewership of any Summer Olympic Games.
Right.
Was this past Summer Olympic Games.
And it wasn't even just Olympics. Baseball, NBA, the finals, NBA finals, lowest rated.
Trash.
All the award shows.
Oh, please.
Lowest rated. So they've gotten into everything. The two places they haven't been able to infiltrate was the military and the police department. So now, like you said, the military. Democrats take control of the White House. They put in their people now to run the military. And what are they doing? They're fucking destroying the military. They're putting in all this woke garbage in there. And they're actually doing investigations.
This race thing.
They're doing investigations to find soldiers who supported Donald Trump, support Republican ideologies, and they're going after them to force them out of the military. And they're trying to replace them with what? These ads that they have where they have these people, these woke people doing these stupid ads for the army and all this other shit. It's
actually quite sad.
It's pathetic is what it is. So they're trying to replace them with that. Why? So they can put boots on the ground now that were traditionally Republican conservatives, now part of the Democratic agenda.
But what purpose would they serve? What purpose would that serve?
Because
it's not a stronger military, that's for sure.
No, it's not at all. It's a much weaker military.
I'm not saying you can't be a strong individual and love your country and be democratic at the same time. I'm not saying that you can't do that. Of course you can. But what purpose would it serve to have a person whose ideology is more of I'm a racist because I'm white? Like, what would make the sense of that?
It doesn't serve.
Or I'm an oppressor because I'm white, simply because my skin is white. Or I'm oppressed because my skin is black. Like, what would be the purpose of having an individual, wanting an individual
in the military,
in the military, and only and excluding someone who doesn't view that? Like, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter what any of that means.
Yeah.
Does the person love the country? Does the person feel that they are willing to die for the country? Can they do the job? That's all I care about.
Yeah,
that's all that we should care about.
That they're lowering the standards because on top of gearing their ads and their recruitment towards the woke population, they're also lowering the physical requirement standards, where they're lowering, like push-ups, pull-ups, the run, where you're allowed to walk in some of these PTs now, where, in order to get into the, the Air Force, I think was one of them, you were allowed to walk a certain distance instead of the run.
Yeah.
It's like stuff like that, where you're just recruiting.
Well, they're in the air. They're in the air. They're not really.
But it's not, it's not just them, though. I think the Army's another one who also lowered their PT, their testing. They lowered their standards in their testing too. And it's like other countries are training their armies, and you're watching these recruitment films for other countries like Russia and China, and you're watching those and you're comparing it to the shit that we're doing here. And it's like, what are we doing? We're basically telling these other countries, start a war with us.
We're fair game.
Start a war. Fuck it. Trust me, you're going to win. Don't worry. You got this. It's insane.
Well, the Taliban is doing that right now.
And they're running through
Kabul's
running
next, brother.
Through cities, man. It's
Kabul's next. That's
again
it.
Just another disaster.
Two of the three big cities in Afghanistan already done.
Yeah, and
Kabul's next.
I was all for bringing the troops home. I think that was smart.
But
move. Get them moved. But again, he just fails to put the plan in place to secure what is being taken now. It's like. You didn't see this coming.
There was reports that they're destroying documents in the embassy right now and just getting everything out.
Yeah.
They're shredding everything. Yes. They're destroying equipment and documents inside the embassy right now in Kabul.
Yeah.
All of that is being going on. I've read reports on it.
It's crazy.
Because they know it's going down.
Yeah.
They know it's going down.
Of course they do. They're not, like I said, they're not stupid.
And we're going to be right back into a situation where we've got the crazy Taliban in complete control, and
who do you think they're going to set their eyes on?
We don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, or we could take a guess though. But I think it's just votes,
and that's the military.
I think it's about votes,
and that's the military, right? This is the military, but that's on the big scale. What are we doing? What are we doing on the local scale with the police departments?
So the police departments is the same. It's the same idea, where you have police officers that are retiring, resigning in droves. They're fleeing police departments all over the country. It's not just New York, Chicago, Portland, everywhere. Police departments are losing cops. Who are they losing?
Probably those conservatives.
They're losing conservative, Republican cops, right? Those are the guys and girls who took the job for the right reasons. They wanted to be police officers from when they were smaller. They wanted to fight crime. Their idea is taking the bad guy off the street. But what are we doing nowadays with crime? We're letting it run rampant.
Nothing.
Right. But you still have cops out there that are running around trying to catch bad guys. You're screwing up the plan. You're getting involved in, or not involved, but you're getting in the middle of something that we're trying to do. And they can't have that. So they're setting all these policies in these cities that are destroying police departments, and they're wrecking DA's offices because, like you said, it's not just in California, it's everywhere, where DA's offices are just not prosecuting anybody. Yeah. They're letting people go. They're emptying jails, right? So you can't have a bunch of insubordinate cops that are going to defy what you want to do and go out there and still doing legitimate police work. So you let the good ones leave. And what you're left with are the asshole cops, the ones that screw up, the ones that are out to hurt people, and the ones that make police departments look bad. And then you have the ones who are going to obey whatever it is that they're told. Because now the commissioners are nothing more than figureheads. They're just an extension of the mayor. And most of these big cities are run by Democratic mayors. And these commissioners know, my mayor tells me what to do, and if I don't do it, I'm fired. So they just fall in line. Instead of standing by their principles and saying, no, we're going to fight crime, we're going to reduce the crime rate, we're going to take people off the street, they go, no, just let them go, let them do what they have to do. I need to secure my job and make sure that I still have employment. But who are they going after while they're letting all the criminals go? Regular civilians.
You think so?
Regular civilians. What did you see all through the pandemic? What kind of videos did you see of police officers? They were arresting mothers in playgrounds, on beaches, for not having masks on. They were arresting store owners.
Yeah, but it hasn't gone... Yeah, well, store owners for keeping open.
For keeping open.
The gym owners.
Not even keeping open.
The gym owners.
They closed. That 14 days to stop the spread. 14 days was up. They still have bills to pay. They still have families to feed. And they had to open up. I need to open up. I got to pay my bills. I got to feed my family. I got to pay my mortgage. And they opened up.
Yeah, but that was then. What about now?
What do you think is still going on?
We don't have lockdowns.
No, but they're talking about it. They're still talking about it.
Yeah.
They're talking about bringing down lockdowns. They're talking about mask mandates. But the problem is they're having trouble having people comply.
Look at New York City now. What did de Blasio just put in place?
Exactly. That's the biggest example you could bring up.
This is the passport. Literally the vaccine passport that you can only... The only way you can go and enjoy any indoor activity is that you have to be vaccinated now. And you have to show proof. And that goes into effect September 1st, yeah?
I think so.
But it doesn't get enforced until the 13th or 15th?
Yeah, something, yeah. It was like September 14th or something like that.
It starts on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's 13th, because I think 14th is a Tuesday, I believe. But, yeah.
So who do you think is going to use
I was going to say,
enforce that?
Who's going to enforce it?
The police. Now, who do you have that supports the police?
The conservatives.
Conservatives. What happens when the police start coming after conservatives? Because the most likely people that are going to be the ones defying those orders are going to be the conservatives. Now you have cops going after them. Are they going to be so happy to defend the blue? Are they going to be saying Blue Lives Matter? Are they going to be going to rallies now supporting the police?
Here's the thing, though. Do the police actually do their job and enforce that?
Exactly. When you let the ones who you know are not going to, when you're letting them resign in droves, and you're punishing the rest that decide to stay on because they want to keep that fight going.
They're creating a Gestapo?
Exactly. Now, this is my opinion. Obviously, I don't have any proof to this or whatever. This is not fact. But based on my observations of what's going on, this is exactly what they're doing. They're creating their own police force. It's not privatized, obviously. It's still city municipalities. But they're creating their own police force that's going to carry out what they want them to carry out. Because that's the last thing you have left now.
What if the business owner refuses? They're gonna the cop. You think will arrest the business owner?
Well, wasn't it? Who was talking about? No, the falsifying vaccination passports.
Yes.
De Blasio was stated that he was going to be enforcing that with up to 7 years in prison for that. So now just think of a store owner that's not checking passports. They send in whoever to see that he's doing that, which, what are you going to do? You're going to walk into a fucking restaurant, you're going to ask the store owner, what's the store owner going to say? Yeah, I checked, everyone's good. Are they going to go to every single table now and start asking people to produce their shit? Because that's what they're doing in other countries.
It's Gestapo.
Right. Now you're sitting at the table, you're trying to enjoy your night out, and you have this fucking health department guy or whoever come over to your table, tells you to stand up and show you your vaccination passport. Even if you are vaccinated, are you really going to allow that to happen? But the problem is you have people that will. And when that person rats out that store owner, what are you going to do? You're going to impose fines on him?
Turning on citizens.
You're gonna shutter his doors. You're gonna bankrupt him with the fines you're gonna give him. I mean, that's what they've been trying to do with these other businesses, like Attila's and Max Public House. And then you're gonna arrest them for defying your orders. So now you have the police being used to carry out that, while at the same time, actual criminals are going out there, shooting the city up, burglarizing your house, stealing your car, robbing you on your way home.
Destroying your business.
After a cop just walked into your business and either arrested you or wrote you a fine.
Or a patron of yours.
Right. How long until that support fails?
That's a scary thought.
But you're seeing it.
It's a scary thought.
And that's the problem now, is that this is what I'm seeing.
Is anybody brought up the idea of, like, has anybody brought forward a lawsuit to stop de Blasio in this vaccination mandate?
Not that I know of. I know some unions that he hasn't been able to put it in writing yet, but they've stated that if he does, when that day comes, they're filing a lawsuit against him. Now, the business owners in the city, if I were them, I would be linking together with every single one of them.
And I would just say, screw this.
And I could see it happening, because a lot of businesses did file lawsuits against them last year for the lockdowns, the hours, shortening the hours that they can operate, the whole food thing.
Yeah.
Having to buy food.
People standing outside in the snowstorm.
Yeah. So they did file lawsuits for that. So I can see them. They have no choice. What are you going to do?
That's ridiculous.
Are you really? Because let's say you want to comply. If you do comply, okay. You have to assume that you're going to lose half your business.
I was just going to say half your business is going to go.
And you know who's, just on a side note, who's the predominant populations of people who haven't been vaccinated, mostly in these cities?
The African American population.
And Hispanic population.
Yeah.
So the people that
27% or 30% or something like that.
Right. So the people that you're swearing to protect,
which is a large portion, by the way.
These are the people you're supposedly fighting for, but yet they're the ones who are now not going to be allowed in New York City, and it's going to come to other cities because that's what
racist.
Happens, right? You're bringing segregation back. You're saying that a certain group of people can now frequent this
because
location.
that was the whole argument, right? That was the other thing. I just read that because the largest population it happens to be African American and Hispanic, it is now somehow racist that they are being oppressed from getting the vaccination. It's not that they just are choosing not to get it.
Of course.
It's now some bureaucracy that is keeping them from getting the vaccination.
Exactly. You're changing the narrative. You're taking what they just don't trust it. A lot of these people that have been spoken to, that have been interviewed, that have been polled, they don't trust the vaccine. They want to wait until the vaccine has been around for a little longer, till testing's done, more testing's done to see the efficacy, the side effects, the long-term effects, whatever, and then take it.
It's actually a reasonable
right.
That's
what the main argument for people who haven't gotten it yet is. But now they're taking that and they're saying, no. Again, it's Democrats telling you what your motive is.
Right.
Which we've spoken about a bunch of times too in the past.
Right.
No, that's not the reason. No, the reason is because
you're oppressed.
It's the system is racist. It's systematic racism that's keeping you from getting the vaccine.
Right.
There's COVID vaccination sites in every freaking store. You can walk into a Dunkin' Donuts and get a vaccination if you want to. All right, that whole idea is just bullshit and it's stupid. And
you can actually, I went onto the website because I'm actually considering getting it now because there's such a big push for the Pfizer one to get approved, and it most likely will be approved by the end of this month, beginning of next month, by the FDA fully. That I was actually looking at it and considering getting it, and you can literally now schedule at like any CVS or Walmart or anything like that, and you can, depending on the supply, you can pick which one you want. Whereas in the very beginning, it was you just got what was given to you.
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice, but now you can literally choose which one to get. And little hint as to why I feel or why I know it's going to get approved. Whose stock just kind of skyrocketed in the last couple of days or the last week? Pfizer's. Pharmaceutical stocks don't jump. There's usually a gradual increase or a gradual decrease. It's very boring. The reason why you get into those stocks is because you are wanting the dividends. It's very stable, basic income. It jumped. Why? It's getting approval soon.
Well, what happens if it gets FDA approval? Can you now mandate it?
Yes.
And that's why they're pushing for it so hard.
Yep.
It takes years to get approval.
Yep.
Yet this one's going to happen in a year.
But it does also take years to get the same amount of number of people
vaccinated.
Right. So there was such a giant push to get people vaccinated that they may actually have the numbers to support and the data to support getting approval. So gotcha. It's not necessarily because it was done on an emergency basis and there was such a huge push to get it. There may be the numbers overwhelmingly to say, and enough data at this point to say it is good for full approval, and that's why I want to see it and I want to look at it, and because you got to think about it. If 69 or 70, we've reached the 70% mark. We did it late. He wanted it by July 4th. We didn't get there. I'm pretty sure we're at the 69 point something. So 70% of the population has received at least one shot of the vaccine or is fully vaccinated. That, you're looking at a country of 330 million.
Yeah.
That's a very large number set. So they may actually have the numbers for approval and enough data and side effect information to warrant a full approval for a certain population. You're not going to have any kids under 12. You're not going to probably have anyone under the age of 18 get it yet, because remember that age group and subset group got later for emergency use. So they may not have the numbers there.
They might still do it anyway, though.
Possible.
They're pushing for pregnant women to get it now.
Yeah, but they're strongly. Well, no, they're not pregnant women.
I'm sorry, pregnant persons.
Pregnant people.
right. Okay.
Pregnant people or people that can get pregnant.
Birthing people. That's the term, right?
She literally said people. She would not say woman. Anyway.
But back to the original thing. It's like, if look at it from that standpoint.
It's a scary thought,
right? And I'm basing it off of what I see because I'm there,
right?
Clearly,
right.
And from what you're seeing in other countries. I mean, look at what's happening in Australia.
They're going crazy over there.
Vietnam.
It's crazy.
In Korea. All these countries that are literally using the police to go out there and
Italy, I
scope up
saw
citizens.
even Italy.
Italy too, yeah. Yeah. So that's, I can see, they see that, right? The federal government sees that. They obviously know what's going on around the country. I mean, around the world. And they get their ideas from a lot of what's happening out there too.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're supposed to be going against the grain, not with the grain.
Right. So
that's what this country was based on.
And I just, that's what I think is happening. I think that they're going to try and get that last bit of people on the right to turn on the police, to turn on the military, so that they move more into the blue and you create a bigger voting population.
What does everybody else think? Let us know what you think on this topic. Do you think that this is something that we need to really, really look into and be mindful of? Or, are we off our rocker, or are we just, thinking of it differently? Just going off in a different tangent. Tell us your thoughts. Leave a comment below. We're out. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris. And this is where we drop the mic.